Magnetic Attraction: How to Get the One You Really Want by Tracy Montgomery. Introduction. The rules of magnetic attraction. Deep inside, we all want to be people magnets. Let's face it, it's wonderful to have people fall in love with you. Having a lot of love and goodwill from other people makes life is so much easier. We also assume that the ultimate prize that everyone wants to have, the one true love, is more easily obtained when you're a person magnet. Instead of chasing hard after someone, that dream mate can just come to you. But it's not all that it seems. First of all, we're not all born full-fledged people magnets. Most of us need to at least polish the seeds of these instincts and abilities in order to successfully attract. Secondly, you can't outwardly appear to be trying so hard attracting people you want towards you. The ability to attract should always look like a natural internal ability. Otherwise, it backfires. People see you as fake or trying too hard. So before we go into the details on how to become a natural people magnet, you must first understand what I call the rules of magnetic attraction. Rule #1. You must be magnetic in your own unique way. No matter how hard you try, you can't be who you're not. When you transform yourself into a people magnet, you're actually rediscovering and bringing out a more polished and attractive version of your true self. If you skip the self discovery, and go straight to copying the looks and behavior of a particular person you admire, that is a celebrity or a personal hero, you'll ultimately be unhappy with who you make yourself up to be. Besides, other people will also see right through you. They can actually feel when you're not being true to yourself, that something about you is fake. To succeed in attracting the sort of true love you want, you have to know yourself first. You must look within yourself, and examine your own physical attributes, to see how you can create a person magnet that's uniquely you. Rule #2. You can only be magnetic to the sort of people you want. Unless you're some supernatural prophet, doubtful, you can't be all things to everyone. To paraphrase an old saying attributed to Abraham Lincoln, you can attract some kind of personalities all of the time, or a wide range of people sometimes, but you can never attract everybody every single time. It's also being realistic. You wouldn't want to attract all people. In truth, we each just want the right kind of people in our lives, that is, the people we are attracted to, and would be happy to spend time and energy on. Your one true love will naturally gravitate towards you, provided that you transform yourself into an open, magnetic character, within easy access to that particular person. 6. Rule #3. The feeling must be mutual. Magnetic attraction between people is always a two-way tango. The people you can attract are those who already have it within them, the tendency to like someone like you. Ditto for the people you're attracted to. So it makes no sense for you to fret and work your way into everyone's hearts. They don't even do this in show business. After all, you only need to find one true love, and true friends. If you spend your energy chasing and seducing dream mates who don't quite take to you, pretty soon you'll get tired of one-sided situations and run out of steam. You might even become depressed with yourself for having failed at love, and lose your joie de vivre. A magnetic personality requires that kind of joyous energy to run for years on end. It's energy you can't afford to run out of. Rule #4. It's not about you. Being a people magnet means you have self-confidence, but not the narcissism. Too much ego or focus on self tends to distract you from noticing the needs of other people, including the person you wish would become your one true love. An attractive person isn't just someone who's pretty or handsome. That person genuinely values the dignity and feelings of other people. He or she empathizes with others enough to balance out any me-first tendencies. A people magnet will, without having to really think about it, listen to 7 others just as much as he or she will talk, simply because it's a pleasant and human thing to do. The last thing a truly attractive person will do is to swagger into a room, in effect, and talk about how sexy, rich or smart he or she is, which turns off a lot of people. The same effect happens when a would-be magnet tries to manipulate events in order to falsely impress others with his or her so-called abilities or character attributes. He or she may fool a few people for a time, but eventually the act wears thin. If you want to attract the one you want, just remember, it's not always about you. You must be clear-headed and perceptive enough to understand what makes other people tick, especially your dream mate. You have to respect them as human beings, with your every thought, act or word. When you have this empathy and understanding, it becomes very easy for you to know precisely what will get certain people to like you. More specifically, you will know what it is about your true self that will make your dream mate fall for you. These 4 rules of magnetic attraction form the basis of how you'll transform yourself into a more magnetic you. As I go through the entire process, bear these rules in mind. Let's rock. Tracy Montgomery 8. Part I. Accept who you are and who you can be. You can't be a true magnetic attraction if, at the first sign of stress or trouble, you give up on yourself and fold up. Being a magnetic person means so much, much more than merely looking sexy and confident. It goes beyond having an effervescent or pleasing personality. You must have a strong core character. Personality versus character. Personality is just a particular combination of personal likes and dislikes, that is clothes, music, food, hobbies, or a preferred range of emotions and behavior, that is being bubbly or vivacious, or being formal and reserved. If we were to describe what a particular person is like, we usually that person in terms of outward personality features. However, it says very little about the inner character of that person. Character is who you are and what you stand for. It's about the quality of your spirituality, your integrity, and inner strength. What do you value? What are the things you believe are good, and how far are you willing to go to uphold and defend what you believe in? Your answers to these questions summarize your character. You could have a very flashy, bright personality, yet be weak in character. Or, someone could seem quiet and sedate, but have a steely tenacity. While looking beautiful and acting confident does help you gain other people's admiration, it's the 9. Quality of your character that makes them stay long after the first throes of attraction. To become truly attractive, you need to work on having a strong character first. Don't worry too much about developing a pleasing, amusing personality. If you focus on developing a strong character, a great personality will spring naturally from it, no problem. Think of character as the foundation of what makes you handsome or beautiful. If you're not a strong, beautiful character within, no matter how physically gorgeous or amiable you are on the outside, when the going gets tough you'll crack and an ugly side of you will develop. The foundation of a beautiful character. But what creates a strong and beautiful character? The foundation of such a character lies in 2 principles. A. An unbreakable belief in the good within oneself. You must believe in your own worth as a person. Believing in the good you can contribute to the world and to others means you are willing to work hard to bring that good out. You will not let anything, or anyone, prevent or abuse the good you can give. You won't let yourself get lazy or presumptuous about how good you are, either. It's being good and realistic about your own self. B. A deep respect and empathy for life in general and the dignity of other human beings. Your respect and empathy for life and other people must run as deeply as your own self-respect. Self-respect and respect for others go hand in hand. 10. And you can't have one without the other. You must be willing to help others realize their own goodness. And just like self-respect, your respect for others will lead you to abhor any form of abuse or laziness that will diminish other people's capacity to be good. If it all sounds like a restatement of the age-old golden rule, it is. It's that ancient wisdom that should form the foundation of what's universally considered attractive in a human being. Can you imagine how someone can be considered truly attractive without a character deeply rooted in these 2 principles? You really can't. Think about a few physically attractive people you know in your own life. who seem to display a lack of one or both of these principles, and you'll see what I mean. Of course, a gorgeous stud or bombshell with a winning personality will always grab the attention of people they meet for the first few hours. But a few days, or dates, later, if they don't have the right character, people either get tired of them or see them as two-dimensional caricatures. Unless you are perfectly content to live with that kind of shallow attention from people for the rest of your life, which I doubt, you're going to have to dig much deeper. So, ground yourself in the truth contained in these two principles. 11. If you commit yourself to these two principles, no matter what life might throw into your path to challenge you, you'll essentially remain the same strong and beautiful character. Beautiful character equals self-knowledge. Grounding your character in the Golden Rule has its benefits. First of all, the two principles of the Golden Rule make it very clear what self-esteem and an open worldview mean. When you have the right self-esteem and an open worldview, it becomes easy to discern who you really are. Just imagine how difficult it would be for someone with low self-esteem, or a narrow-minded view of things. You won't or overestimate your assets and abilities. You'll have an inkling of where you fit in this world. You can actually live with yourself. You'll be able to accept without shame what you cannot change about yourself. At the same time, you'll accept that you must change what you can about yourself for the better. Attractiveness requires self-knowledge. Armed with this sort of clear self-knowledge, you'll be able to work with your givens to create an irresistible version of yourself. Do you know what your givens are? These are your strengths and weaknesses, your talents and clumsy areas, and your natural temperament. It's what makes you incorrigibly you. And yes, it includes your desirable and not so desirable physical attributes. 12. Do you know which of your givens can be changed or improved? Do you know how to make yourself change for the better, despite your weaknesses or limitations? And do you know when it's time to say, no, it's time to give it up and work with what I have? There's so much soul-searching to do. But if you don't dig and build deeply enough, you will never become a truly magnetic character. You need that much detailed knowledge of yourself in order to map out in detail your strategy for improvement. Best cures for not knowing: some of you might look in the mirror and gasp, I will admit I don't really know who I am. If this is you, don't fret. It simply means you're at a point in your life where you must prioritize soul searching. I mean it when I say you have to prioritize it. You can't be running about chasing dream mates if you don't know who you are. What if you happen to chase after the wrong kind of person for you? You won't know enough about yourself to realize he or she is the wrong choice. You could find your desire or love for that person unreciprocated. You could end up together, but you'll both end up wasting so much time and resources trying to prevent yourselves from hating one another. Life is too short to make important decisions carelessly this way. 13. So if you feel you don't know yourself well enough, or feel you need to go out into the world to find yourself, focus on finding yourself first. Don't muddle things up by trying to get into relationships or pining after people you're attracted to. You should look into dating and serious relationships only when you're ready. However, finding out who you are takes much more than contemplating yourself in a mirror. If your scope of experience and mindset are narrow, your view of self will be hopelessly skewed. You'll either shortchange yourself, or have an over-inflated ego. And you won't even be aware of it. To avoid this, you need to take off any blinders, and stay grounded in truth. You've most likely heard of the saying, every day, do something that scares you. No, it doesn't mean doing something foolish every day. Don't go running off for a painful experience. What this saying simply means is you must constantly push yourself slightly outside your current comfort zone, to learn something new. By stepping outside your familiar box, you'll learn to see more opportunities in life and love that you've never noticed before. Here are some effective ways of broadening your perspective on yourself. 14. 1. Travel the world. One way of getting out of your current mindset is to take yourself outside your usual environment. So grab a map of the world or your entire country, consider your budget, and go. Regardless of where your budget will allow you to go, make sure you travel to a place you've never been to before. It doesn't matter exactly where, as long as it's new territory for you. When planning a trip, be realistic. Depending on your budget, you can go on a 3 to 4 day backpacking trip, or a long cruise. Taking trips is about observing yourself and other people. Plan to take this trip alone. Fight the temptation of inviting friends along. This way, you can focus on yourself, and plan your entire lineup of activities for the entire purpose of self-discovery. It'll force you to be more self-reliant and more introspective. Try not to remain a tourist, someone who simply takes pictures. You must be a traveler as well. That's someone who sincerely leaves something of himself with people he or she meets, while receiving or learning something from the people encountered. Being a traveler is better than being a mere tourist, because it invites you to learn from the sort of people you've never encountered before. 15. If you have the time before or during your vacation, take a short training class in a new skill, like scuba diving, whitewater rafting, skydiving, or pottery making. 2. Get educated. A college education, a master's degree or doctorate aren't just good achievements to list in your resume. When paired with streetwise or hands-on experience, formal education deepens your wisdom. You can always distinguish someone who has higher education from the rest of the pack. Answers from an educated person are more well-informed, and are better communicated to others. Such a person tends to have more self-confidence, a key ingredient in creating a more magnetic character. If you can't afford formal education, you can still take certificate courses to augment what you already know. Think about what sort of expertise you'd like to develop, then invest what time and money you can spare to take these courses. If you've already amassed a lot of educational and life experience points, it still doesn't mean you know it all. You never will, so you must remain humble, without being overly self-deprecating. Allow both books and real life to educate you continuously, or you'll become boastful, vain, neurotic or narrow-minded. 16. 3. Work and help others. There are people who find themselves only by going away to live and work for years in a totally different country. You could be one of them. This is a more immersive, drastic experience compared to being a traveler on a trip. This sort of experience is especially good for you if you have certain issues or emotional baggage from the past. Surrounded by a totally different milieu, you will appreciate the wonderful things about home which you took for granted. You'll also wonder how certain challenges back home seemed like huge issues to you, for when you compare them against your new environment, they'll seem small. You'll begin to question why you carried some old hurts and fears for so long. You may have a certain calling or passion for helping others that's so strong, denying it will actually do you serious emotional or psychological harm in the long run. If so, you're not alone. Many people actually get this calling at some point in their lives, and quite a number of them are relatively young people still in search of themselves. If this is your case, use your soul-searching time to fulfill your need to help others as well. You can go to poverty-stricken place to live and work there for a time as a part-time student or relief worker. The rest of us usually seek a new environment which we feel will nurture our growth better than the one we grew 17 up in. If you're from New York, you may feel the urge to move to a more conservative city like Singapore. If you're from West Virginia, you could try a more liberated place in France. If you come from a home or town where eccentric artists are somewhat out of place, for instance, choosing a city like Berlin or Rio de Janeiro might be a breath of fresh air. Living temporarily in a new place naturally makes you shed some psychological baggage, and develop a previously unexplored aspect of yourself. Go on retreats when you carry invisible baggage from the past, fears, assumptions and distracting memories that hinder you from moving on. Sometimes, Subjecting yourself to complete isolation for short periods is needed. Some places are desolate and good for silent retreats, where there's very little around you that can drown out the little voice in your mind. Perhaps, in the isolation, this is where you can draw enough strength from within to ditch painful memories. While you may want to go on such retreats alone, sometimes you literally need the help of others to think alone. Some of the best spiritual retreat places in the world are in isolated mountain tops, forests, deserts or islands, with special retreat houses run by different religious clergy or licensed psychologists. 18. If you are particularly troubled, or are prone to retreat from the world, don't overdo it. Isolation is good only for certain occasions. You're not supposed to damage your relationships with friends, families, or other acquaintances as a result. Forgive by focusing on things that help you grow and be happy. You avoid feeding painful, old memories. Fears and grudges need attention and energy to stay alive in your mind. Starve them by keeping yourself busy with better things to do. This way you can move towards forgiving yourself and others of past mistakes. Most people have ambivalent feelings towards the concept of forgiveness. They think it means letting people who hurt you off the hook. Not quite. Forgiveness means finding new, positive meaning or purpose to hurts you've suffered in the past. It may or may not involve a choice to forget the wrong that's been done to you, and if it does, as much as possible it ought to be after the person who's wronged you has done some form of restitution or compensation to you. It's all in line with your conscious choice to focus more on the bigger picture, your overall plan for your life. I know forgiveness is one of the hardest things to achieve in life. Nobody said it was easy. But trust me, it's a 19. Essential way to personal calm and peace, and all of us need to practice it. I will give special mention here to inner demons. Often, your greatest offenders aren't other people, it's your own self. If you are currently in trouble because of a debilitating addiction, a habit or psychological problem preventing you from reaching your full potential, you must admit it and seek professional help. That way you can proceed with living your life and forgive yourself for having failed. There is no shame in having failed yourself. Having a problem and needing help does not mean there is something fundamentally wrong or monstrous about you. We're all human. We all create our own problems every now and then which require the help of others to solve. Real failures in life are born out of giving up on life itself, and stubbornly refusing to help where you need it most. Regardless of who hurt you, whether it's you or someone else, give yourself time to heal. Don't expect to achieve forgiveness overnight. It is hard work, but you need to do it if you want to move forward in life and become that confident, magnetic person you've always wanted to be. 20. Part 2, Mapping it out. One fine day, you'll look in the mirror and say, "It's okay. I know what I want. I know what I need. I know who I am." Or perhaps this is where you are now. If so, congratulations. You're now ready to analyze who you are in detail, and see how you can map out a plan for creating a more magnetic you. Mind mapping. Despite your efforts to achieving a clear mind, analyzing yourself and creating a transformation plan may or may not be as easy as it sounds. If this is the case, don't feel bad. It could just mean it's your first time to honestly and deeply analyze yourself. Or you could just be physically tired and distracted. For this reason I recommend mind mapping. It's a method of thinking and planning popularized by British psychology author Tony Buzan. Simply focus on an idea, no matter how vague, and start drawing a freehand diagram of whatever related ideas pop up next in your mind. What naturally comes out is a mind map or a diagram of how you can take an idea and bring it to reality. 21. While the mind mapping method is used in schools, business and non-profit organization planning, you can actually apply it to your personal life. Some people think of mind mapping as mind dumping. It isn't far from the truth. The method does require you to spew out and diagram nearly every thought you have at the moment, whether or not it's immediately related to your main goal. For hidden among those seemingly random thoughts is a diagram of what you should prioritize as an aspiring person magnet. To give you a better idea of what mind mapping is, below is an example mind map, and instructions on how to make one. Source: Government of South Australia. There's more to it than you think. Website: http://www.thrasmortup.com.au/myfuture/myvalues.asp. Step 1. Get a large, clean sheet of paper, and colored pens or crayons, at least 3 different colors. 22. Step 2. At the center of the paper, write down a keyword or phrase that best describes your main idea or goal. Use specific and highly imaginative words or phrases. When you're done, enclose the words in a colorful line drawing, like a rainbow circle, a sunburst outline, flower, exclamation point, etc. Step 3. Look at your key phrase. What comes to mind when you think of this idea? Is there a specific aspect of your life, or a particular task, that you suddenly feel needs to be addressed in connection with this idea so that it'll become reality? Every time an answer comes to mind, write it down on the paper, somewhere beside your central drawing or keyword. Try keeping your description of the answer short. Draw a colorful line to connect this answer to the central drawing. Step 4. Try to write your answers around the central drawing, in a radial fashion. Eventually your central idea will have idea branch lines radiating out of it. Step 5. If you suddenly think of ideas that seem to be subtopics of ideas previously written, write that down beside the first idea, and draw a subbranching line to connect the ideas together. Step 6. As you go along, the structure that should develop would be a radiant hierarchy. Your main answers would be connected directly to your central drawing, with their connected minor ideas radiating out like smaller branches from each of them. 23. Step 7. Congratulations! You've literally drawn a map or diagram of how your idea will be implemented in real life. This map can also be considered an illustrated hierarchy of your priorities. Now that you know the mind mapping method, let's apply it to your situation. You are to create 2 separate mind maps. You'll end up with 2 maps on separate papers, which should connect and agree with one another on at least one crucial point, or more, without overlapping or negating any aspect of the other. Note, you may create either one of these 2 maps in any order. You may even do them simultaneously, it doesn't matter. The only requirement is that they agree with one another when you're done. Mind map 1, who I am, and who I can be. Create a map of the new magnetic you which you want to become. Take a large piece of blank paper, and in its center write down the word or phrase that most vividly describes that new you. For great effect, don't be shy with yourself and be imaginative with your choice of words, for example irresistible entrepreneur, sexy sunshine, genius stud, ridiculously gorgeous geek, and so on. Once you've written that magic phrase, start writing down and diagramming, in a free-flowing style, everything you think. 24. You need to do in real life that should answer the following questions. 1. How do I become this particular magnetic character? What do I need to do, and improve? 2. How do I get the sort of people I want in my life to like/love me back in kind? 3. What should I do in order to meet the love of my life, my one true love? Mind map 2, who are the people I want to entice or attract? Take another clean sheet of paper. In its center, write a phrase that best summarizes the sort of human beings you want to people your life. Examples: my community, my loving people, or my circle of love. Next, begin writing down the roles/names of the people you want in your life, along with a short description of what they're like, and how you wish you could relate to one another. While the resulting map is a diagram of your dream life, Strive to be both realistic and loving in your portrayal of them and your hoped-for relationships with them. The people in your life should include family, friends, and friends of friends, colleagues/co-workers and bosses, neighbors and helpful acquaintances. 25. Note: unless you're unfortunate enough to have parents, siblings or other immediate relations who are a true bane to your existence or happiness, there's no reason to burn your bridges and exclude them from your life, no matter how unloving or annoying they might be. Honoring their role in your life is part of what makes you a beautiful character. But the biggest focus of this mind map should be your ideal mate. Make sure you reserve the biggest space on paper for mapping out your one true love. In that reserved space, create a sub-diagram of what your one true love should be like. This diagram should still be part of Mind Map 1, and answer the following questions. 1. How should my one true love or dream mate look like? Do I have any particular preferences, that is height, weight, color of hair, eyes, etc.? Or do I not really care? 2. What should my dream mate's true character be like? Bear in mind the general attributes of a beautiful character, and take it down to specific details. What should his or her ultimate life goals and moral values be? How should these match or complement mine? 3. Are there any personality traits, that is temperament, preferences, habits, hobbies, etc. that I wish my dream mate should have, which should complement or match my own? 4. How precisely does my dream mate relate to everyone else in my life? How will he or she relate to both Mind Map 1 and Mind 26? Map 2? How and where exactly does the dreamed mate diagram connect or fit in with the rest? As you create Mind Map 1 and Mind Map 2, here are a few things to remember. 1. You should try to be clear and solid about who you want to be, and what you need to do in life, before you start looking for an ideal lifetime partner. If you don't know who you are and what you're supposed to do, you won't know what you need or want in an ideal partner. It's as simple as that. 2. The higher up the diagram dating sits on your Mind Map 1 of priorities, the more specific you need to be on what your lifetime partner should be like. If Mind Map 1 seems to imply that you're still prioritizing other goals in life, don't stress yourself out by envisioning a very specific portrait of a dream mate. If finding your one true love is really top of mind, a clear description of the sort of person he or she ought to be will come to you naturally. Don't force it. 3. Mind maps aren't static. They're like snapshots of your present state of mind. A few years from now, your priorities may change and you'll feel the need to change both the image of your magnetic self, and that of your ideal dream mate. 27. Example 1, a section of a mind map, in progress. Lara wants to be a wife and mother soon. Finding her lifetime partner is top priority. Example 2, a mind map in progress. Joe is still struggling to be a successful lawyer. He needs to quit smoking. He's also slightly overweight and beset with skin problems. He feels very insecure about his appearance and now wants a complete makeover, which may take a few years. Knowing what his ideal lifetime partner should be like is good, but finding her is not an immediate concern. When you're done, slide Mind Map 1 and Mind Map 2 together to see how the big picture of your life and goals look. Take a long, quiet moment to reflect on what you've done. 28. Keep your maps. Since it's very easy for any of us to get distracted and forget our dreams and who we are, yes, that includes you, these maps will act as your compass. Display or tuck them into little corners where no one else can see them, for example a corkboard in the corner of your office, your locker, your diary or sketchbook, your wallet, but where you can always stare at them to remind you of what you want in life. Keep looking at them from time to time to reflect on how well you're keeping in line with your goals. When you know your maps by heart, it'll be easy for you to go through the actual process of transformation which I shall detail in the rest of this book. It will make deeper sense to you if you relate what I'll be talking about to your own maps. Along the way, you may even find reasons to add more details to your maps, to remind you of the specific things you ought to be doing to transform yourself into the right sort of people magnet. 29. Part 3, Internalizing and Fueling Your Transformation. It's now time to start implementing your mind maps. First, you need to make sure what's within you and what fuels you is aligned with the magnetic character you want to become. There are a number of ways by which you can create such an alignment. Self-parenting. When you're a true adult human being, you have the full power of motivating yourself. It's a little like secretly being your own parent. Yep, regardless of age, our inner child will never go away, and will always need a parent. Here's how: repeat the important aspects of your mind map to yourself in your head, like a mantra or like a mother reminding her child what's good. Don't imagine you can control you, all by your lonely self. Purposely place yourself in an environment that will naturally push you to be who you want to be, much like a father of old would choose a suitable place where he could raise children among people who have the same values. Every kid needs an idol or hero, a person he or she admires, who'll be a benchmark or the embodiment of what he or she wants to be like. This is still true when we're adults. We need such heroes or archetypes to mirror 30. The very type of person we want to be. So pick someone worthy to be your hero. Have an image of that person, or persons, if it's more than one, tucked away where your mind maps are. Some of these heroes should also have a certain physical attractiveness or poise you'd like to have or emulate. This way, you can have a tangible image of the sort of person you want to be, and the physical body you want to have. Make sure your circle of friends is made of good people who love and support of you, and don't judge you. When you are around this group, they make you feel good about where you are now, and where you are going. And most important, you need friends with a great sense of humor. Being in this supportive circle will help you develop a light-hearted, humorous side, and create a really funny person everyone else wants to be around with. Internalizing the new you. Once your inner parent has succeeded in giving you the right environment and role models, it's time to internalize the new you. You have to imagine you already are the new you, today. This is much better than simply thinking, yes, someday soon, I will be that new me. Instead of placing such a goal in the future, not yet, but soon, you force yourself to think that you are that person now, thus forcing the goal psychologically closer to your reality. 31. And when you have the desire behind the belief, almost anything is possible. Internalize the thought that you have the power to make yourself attractive in an instant. This is the first step. It takes plenty of practice, but you must believe that you already are as attractive as described in your mind maps, so you'll be forced to act accordingly. So how would you physically move, if your body already was in the shape and appearance of the new you? How does it feel? If you have to, close your eyes and imagine the change, then move around. What would your health be like? Can you imagine how strong your heart, limbs and muscles would be? Can you imagine how flexible you'd be, and how well you'd run and dance, or lift heavy objects? Stare hard in the mirror, and try to imagine how you'd actually really look like as the new you. Would you stand differently, and have a different sort of poise? Aside from achieving physical attractiveness, imagine that the rest of the goals in your mind map, for example financial stability, successful career, etc. have also been achieved, today. How do you feel inside? Happy, rested or relaxed, content, and at peace? Giggly and exuberant? How would such achievements change the way you physically stand, sit, walk, greet and talk with other people? How would you smile and laugh? 32. With such drastic changes, imagine deeply how you'd behave in every situation you can think of. How would you carry yourself, and talk? How would you deal with trouble and stress? How do you plan out your life from then on? Would your tastes change? What would your clothing, accessories and hairstyle be? What would your home look like? What sort of food would you eat? What sort of regular exercise and medical checkups would you be having? How would you treat the people in your life? How would you treat your family and friends? Would your friends be the same bunch, and no one else? Or would you have more friends? What sort of new people would suddenly be attracted to the new you? How would you feel, finding them popping up into your life just like that? How would you talk to them, and start relationships? Practice the new you, but all that inner work, the self-parenting and internalization, won't bear fruit if you don't start practicing what you can immediately. As you imagine deeply how you'd look and feel as the new you, try your best to actually enact some aspects of what you imagine. This way, you can really see the transformation unfold each day. Extra motivation for you. Here are a few examples. 33. Actually start moving, that is walking, standing, like you already are the new you. For instance, if you're overweight and envision a slimmer self, try your best to subtly change the way you stand and walk into that of a lighter person. You may not be able to wear all of the clothes you envision you'd end up wearing later on today. But you just might be able to wear a few pieces like shoes, jacket or jewelry that would go very well with the new you. As an extra dare, go buy or prepare one new piece of clothing in the size and style that would suit the new you, and put it in your closet. As you slowly implement all the changes necessary for your transformation, try it out in your room with each passing day. And give yourself a treat on the day you do fit into it. So what diet and exercise would the new you be on? Be on it starting today. Because you already are that person. And keep to it. How would the new you treat your family and friends? Do it now. How would you be like at work? What practice is that the new you is supposed to do, that you can do now? Do it now. Practice meeting your true love. Finding your soulmate is like any job, you need to psych yourself up to be ready for that kind of situation. You need to 34. Constantly envision how you'll behave as your magnetic self when you meet someone you're very attracted to. To start, I have one special exercise for you. What would you do, and how would you feel, if the true love of your life appeared right now, for 5 whole minutes? Write down every action you take during those 5 minutes. You have only 1 minute to write all that down. Now, let's reflect on what you wrote down and experienced. Ask yourself the following questions. What did your true love look like? What was your true love wearing? Did they appear more attractive than you? Would people say, "How did that guy/girl end up with you?" Or would they say, "Man, they are an attractive couple"? What was the first thing your true love said to you, which made you know she was the one? What positive, attractive character and personality traits did she have? Did you say anything to this person, or were you too thrown off by the sudden appearance? Did you feel clumsy? How did you approach one another? Were you happy with your own appearance? Why? While the whole exercise was merely overactive daydreaming, your answers to the questions above tell a lot about how you see yourself today and how close, or far, you are from achieving your people magnet state. 35. Remember this, like attracts like. If you don't start seeing yourself as sexy, or at least consider your hidden sexiness easily uncovered, no one else will. You need to send out the right signals to the world around you first, before the right person zeroes in on you. You can practice meeting your soulmate in your mind every now and then to check how positively you see yourself. Try to imagine how a real conversation might occur with this person, and how you'd behave as the new magnetic you. On the average, people who do these internalizing exercises while putting into practice many of the aspects their new selves, start seeing noticeable changes in their appearance within 3 to 4 months. There are even those whose transformation occurs in less than a month. This further boosts their self-confidence, and their general mental and emotional health. Let this happen to you. Fuel your transformation with spiritual health. Once you've taken these first few steps to changing yourself from within, you'll have to back it up with spirituality. What is spirituality? It is how you find deeper meaning behind every person, event or act that occurs in your life. If you are a spiritual person, you don't see life as a random set of events haphazardly thrown together. Rather, you see all things exist because of a unifying reason. And because the universe is ordered, your positive transformation is your right and duty to other people. Nobody 36 should tell you you're being unreasonable or selfish by wanting to be a more attractive person. You are a priceless being, and you are supposed to be attractive. The world needs more people with beautiful character. You also believe that you are meant to find true love. You deserve to be with a person as good and admirable as he or she can possibly be. You are not supposed to settle with just anyone because it isn't right. You will also persevere in your work to transform yourself into a magnetic character, no matter what obstacle you face, because you believe you must. If you believe in a higher power or in a loving God, you also have an advantage because you can draw inner strength to persevere. It is difficult to believe in your own uniqueness and value if you do not have spirituality. If you aren't spiritual, sooner or later in your life, you will begin to question what all that hard work is for. At the first sign of trouble, you might even begin to despair and lose hope. For, if everything in the universe is just a bunch of random events with no purpose, why would you be special enough to matter to anyone else? Reflection and journal writing. It is because of spirituality that part of changing yourself into a powerful, attractive person involves reflection and journal writing. It is a way for you to meditate and strengthen your spirituality. 37. A journal is a good outlet for you to write down your everyday thoughts and memories. When you reflect on your life, you will need the help of a journal to see what you were thinking of months or years ago, and see how far you've come. People who kept personal diaries or journals from years past can judge themselves well, and even retrieve forgotten memories. This is why I encourage you to keep a private journal or diary, and fill it up with your thoughts. Your journal writing, just like your spirituality, naturally reflects who you are as a person. So it can be as spare, colorful or lengthy as you want it to be. In case you're trying journal writing for the first time, and don't quite know what to put on the first page, below are a number of things you can reflect on. You can then start writing your own first thoughts, and continue from there for several more entries. I already have, within me, the subtle power to attract the people I want to myself. The warmth of my sincerity, unique personality, depth of character, and the poise I adopt, can already generate this power today. For the next 3 months, I will put an effort to imagine myself as the new me. That belief in my attractive power will naturally spur me to take care of my health and appearance, and to act like a good and attractive person. At the end of 3 months, I and everyone else will begin to see changes in me. There is power in putting pen to paper. What I write can become truth. If I say I will become attractive, the words fly off the paper and back into my mind and heart, transforming me. It will bring me one step closer to finding my one true love. 38. There are other things you can write about. It doesn't have to be completely profound. Go ahead, be like a teenager and don't be shy about writing whatever it is that preoccupies your mind. Who is the object of your desire? Have you met this person, or is this someone that you have created in your mind? Could your soulmate be a blend of actual people you've met in your life, whom you wish could be combined into one? Or perhaps, even be an improvement over all of them? If such a person existed, how would this person see you? What is it about who you are, how you look, and what you can offer, which should make your soulmate fall in love with you? Are you at peace with yourself, and everything you've ever done in your life? Do you believe that you are good enough for the person that you are trying to attract? Or will this fantasy stay as such, just a fantasy? Are you happy in your job? Or do you prefer to be doing something else? If so, write whatever else you wish you could be doing. How probable is it for you to actually fulfill these wishes? Do you like your current home? Why? Are your friends a positive influence on you? Do your spirits naturally lift up when you talk to them? Why, or why not? What sort of friends would you wish to have? How would you find them, test them, and keep them? Is your body weight where you want it to be? What can you do to bring it closer to where it ought to be? More importantly, when do you plan to begin working on it? What do you spend most of your time doing? Why? What do you think about all of time? Why? Fuel your transformation with Money 39. You might be thinking, wait a minute, why is the talk of money here? And why not? Transforming yourself into the new, magnetic you doesn't necessarily mean spending thousands of dollars, but yes, it does mean managing your finances in a smarter way. Money isn't the root cause of evil, it's merely the means to an end, self-realization. It's when you actually love money that real trouble begins. In reality, you really do need some money to do what you need to do and fulfill your maps. Without money, transforming into an attractive person does get a whole lot harder. So, how much money or wealth should you have? Ideally you should have enough to take good care of yourself today, without accumulating debt. Grow your savings for further plans, for example marriage, own business or non-profit organization, added education, or retirement. These are the two main viewpoints by which your financial status should be analyzed. From there, you can create an overall financial plan for yourself, one that can maximize your limited money flow and time to achieve your goals in life. Such a financial plan can be broken down as follows. 40. 1. How you earn money. You need to be in a job or line of work that you're happy to be working in, and which will provide you the needed income to live and live out at least most of your dreams. 2. How you manage your time and the other resources. It's not just cold cash or credit that eventually defines your wealth. You also need to consider your health, how much time you have, your abilities, work experience and knowledge, your personal relationships, your network of business people or contacts, and even your store of ideas, in order to assess how much power you have to improve life. How does money help you manage your time and these resources, and vice versa? 3. How you track and reduce your daily spending. No matter who you are and what stage you are in life, even if you've got money to burn, you should always control your spending. It's all the more important to use as little of your money as you can if you've got a limited amount. You need to use your money wisely and save what you can for use in achieving your goals. 4. How you manage big but needed purchases. Large purchases like a new car, a home of your own, real estate, or a big expensive college education, fall under this category. These purchases fall into only two categories, which you need to remember: purchases that accumulate value, and those that merely depreciate, no matter what you do. 5. How to get out of debt, or stay out of debt. This is related to No. 4, but deserves a little section on its own. 41. Having debts, and getting rid of them for good, is one of the most difficult things to achieve in life. But you need rid yourself of bad debt, and the habits that make you accumulate them, for these will give you no end of trouble in life. You don't need that kind of negativity. 6. How you invest what you've earned and saved. It's not enough to simply stash away the money you haven't used. How do you grow your money? Where should you invest it? 7. How you protect yourself. Under this category are your insurance purchases. This also includes what your medical care is, how you use your employee benefits, if you're employed, how you build your pension, how you pay taxes and make use of any of your country's tax incentives or breaks. If you have control over your finances, You can allot a budget for your transformation, that is for health expenses, exercises, hobbies, travels, education, etc. The money you set aside can easily fuel you towards success. 42. Part 4. Embodying the better you. Your physical appearance should come as close as possible to who you feel you are within. So, get to work. Be healthy inside and out. It all starts with a healthy physical lifestyle. In the 21st century, nearly all of us already know what this means. But it merits repeating here. You need to eat right, get enough exercise and sleep, and avoid abusing yourself with work, stress, smoking, drugs, alcohol, dangerous substances, etc. Have you ever noticed how a small problem seems like a huge one when you haven't got the proper amount of sleep or nutrients? Normally, when you are well rested, well nourished, and have been maintaining a decent level of physical activity, you find yourself as spry and optimistic as ... well, a kindergartner. Like an energetic and eternally happy child at a game of ping pong, you find yourself able to identify the fastest and most efficient way to deal with problems that come your way. Somehow, the problems become more like a challenging game. You can either defeat them or deflect them from your path, to be dealt with on another day. Your stress level is less, and the image you naturally project to other people is that of someone who can roll with the punches and handle anything that comes your way. 43. But when you fail to pay attention to your mental and physical health, you become irritable. You even gain unwanted weight, despite cutting back on what you eat, because you end up eating junk or fast food, or an entirely wrong diet. You look haggard, and are constantly on the verge of venting out some inner frustration. Eventually, other people stop wanting to spend more time with you. So what's your situation? Are you someone that others want to be around with? Have you actually been depriving yourself of basic healthy living? You must pretend that finding and winning your soul mate is like training for the Olympics. You must be an athlete of life, for life. Eat the proper amount of food, never too little or too much, and make sure to include all the food groups. Cut back on non-essential fats, excess carbohydrates, sugars, salts and alcohol, and consume them in moderation. Eat organic as much as possible, and try to eat fresh food over anything else. If you have a hard time motivating yourself to eat healthily, just imagine that by eating this food you will become incredibly healthy, and more desirable in the eyes of the one you want to win over. With eating comes exercise. Walk at least 30 minutes to an hour a day, enough to raise your heart rate and sweat. Try doing little tasks the long way. For example, go get up to change the TV channel instead of using the remote control. 44. Take the stairs when you can, instead of the elevator. Walk or bike when you can, instead of taking the car. Take advantage of the day you clean house, you'll burn more calories that day. Physical beauty and style. It's a magic cycle. When you are confident about yourself, you will naturally take pride in your physical appearance at all times, and then, having an attractive appearance will in turn boost the confidence you already have. This is also why how you dress and groom yourself should look natural, classy and within the right context. The good taste and classiness you display on the outside will influence how you look and feel inside. Dress like trash, and pretty soon you will start acting and thinking like trash. Worse, you will attract trashy people. But you can be sexy without resorting to a cheap, over-the-top sexual look for yourself. All you have to do is implement the following simple ideas into your life. Take a hard look at your face and body. Like you did with your own inner character, identify which aspects of your physical appearance are assets. Decide also which aspects need improvement and can be improved. Otherwise, you must learn to accept and work around what you cannot change. Yes, it's hard. Nobody said it was easy. But it's the only way to get through life. Plan in detail how you can improve and enhance what you can about your physical looks. Given your present available time, money and resources, Create for yourself a regular schedule for beauty or grooming routines. Think about when and how to get a flattering hairstyle, good glowing skin, fit body, healthy teeth, good eyesight, a proper pedicure/manicure, etc. 45. When it comes to clothes, shoes, hairstyles and general fashion, carefully observe and compare today's fashion trends versus fashion classics. Avoid being too trendy, that is risk, or too classic, that is boring. You should choose ideas from both camps which suit and flatter your body type, age, character, personality and social milieu. Fashion trends always seem to come back in a full circle. But that doesn't mean you should keep all the clothes you have had for more than 10 years, in the hopes that you can use them again. Remember, you age and change with time. A particular piece that seemed to suit you very well a decade ago may look silly on you now. So pack them up, and go get something that suits your body type and personality today. Be patient and observant when it comes to developing your own fashion sense. It may take a bit of time and some experimentation for you to figure out what works with your body type and personality. But above all, always try to look intelligent and classy, never trashy. Keep yourself scrupulously clean. Shower or bathe daily, or after every time you sweat heavily. Scrub or exfoliate if you must. And yes, don't forget to clean gently but religiously in those hard-to-reach or forgotten places. Nothing turns people off like seeing dirt in the following places: fingernails, toenails, nostrils, ears, front and back, neck, belly button, underarms, knees and elbows. And in numerous other visible creases. Invest in your skin when you can. Keep your skin, on your face and body, in its best condition through a healthy lifestyle, and simple but effective cleaning routines. When you can afford to, consult a dermatologist how you can keep your particular skin type looking and feeling its best. Wear sunscreen and keep out of the sun if you must to protect your skin, but don't stay away from the sun altogether. You do need sunshine for vitamin D, and to keep your mind cheerful. You need a brilliant, clean smile. Make sure your teeth always look and feel like they have been professionally cleaned. When you can, invest in your teeth, have them whitened, straightened, filled out or fixed in the best way possible to produce an even smile. Your smile will come bigger when you actually want to show off your teeth. Fix your hair. It should always frame your face in the most flattering way possible. Make sure the cut, color and style matches your hair type. That is, you don't have to resort 46 to using an inordinate amount of hair products to achieve the look. Make sure it also matches your personality, lifestyle and comfort level. The last thing you want is literally being unable to focus on everyday actions because of your hair, that is falling into your eyes, or having to be constantly attended to. Be kind to your hair, and don't overstyle it, either. For women, use the proper amount of makeup. You should always consider the time of day and the occasion when deciding how much makeup to use. So what's proper? The proper amount means anyone at that occasion and time can look at you and honestly say they see you, not someone hidden behind overly colorful or clever makeup. There are times when you should put on makeup you want other people to know you value yourself and the occasion enough to look well put together. But regardless of the occasion, it's you who should shine, not your makeup. You should hardly notice it on. My personal tip: make sure to put emphasis on your eyes, as your eyes are the window to your soul. For men, consider the effects of facial hair. Today's facial hairstyles are wonderfully varied, helping men enhance or balance out the general shape of their face, all while making a personal statement. You should take the time to see various examples of today's fashionable beards, goatees, mustaches, 5 o'clock shadows, sideburns, and any combination of these. But does your facial hair make you feel sexy, or are you finding you are playing around with it too much? Facial hair, in all different styles, Looks incredibly sexy if it doesn't cause a distraction. And does it pose a problem for your skin? If facial hair for you is distracting and problematic, just go clean shaven instead. You need to smell good, all the time and at any age. But as far as fragrances go easy on them. Wear just enough to get some interest and never too much that it seems like you're about to drown yourself and others in it. Cologne or perfume is meant to be a subtle way to get people to notice you. But if you have too much on, people will think you are trying to cover up something. That can actually give some people headaches or serious allergic reactions, so go easy. 47. Poison manners. Once you have a beautiful inner character, complete health, self-confidence, and a smart fashion sense to boot, you're all set. Right? Not quite. You still need to have the right presentation for all that. Presentation here means poisoned manners. Like icing on a cake or polish on silver, consider it the last essential ingredient to the whole new you package. When combined with everything else you've developed, poisoned manners create an aura that's riveting to behold. It's what helps people see you first in a crowd within the first 10 seconds, and helps keep their eyes on you. This aura is similar to what actors call stage presence. It's not hammy acting or posing. It's that X factor, that irresistible something or je ne sais quoi that makes people stop and notice one particular actor, above all the rest, when they go on stage. Stage presence can be subtly carried into real life as well. While the X factor is something unique to a particular person and can never be duplicated in another, cultivating the proper poison manners helps bring out your own X factor. So what makes up proper, poisoned manners? 1. Proper posture. This is literally how you hold up your entire spine as you move around in everyday life. It's more than just the old-fashioned back straight, chin up missive. There's attitude and 48. A bit of athleticism involved here. Who you are will be reflected in precisely how you keep your back straight and your chin up. A few examples: a dancer holds himself or herself up differently from a confident business entrepreneur, or an athletic mountaineer. Or, a person with military training actually walks differently from a yoga enthusiast, or a martial arts expert. Fashion models also exhibit a different kind of poise. It all depends on who you are. Pay close attention what particular sort of stance and walk feel most natural to you, and stick to it. Keep your back straight and chin up as you move in that particular style. Your particular brand of sexuality will also manifest itself in how you hold yourself up and move. In general, females look as though they are dancing, and males move with muscular power. But we all have varying levels of femininity and masculinity in our personalities. Some men incorporate a fluid gentleness in their stance, while some women display a small swagger that contrasts nicely with their curves. You will have to figure out what sort of moving style is most natural to your character and personality. A few more tips: if you feel you lack inspiration for developing your own poise, do a quick observational scan of people the next time you step into a room or gathering. See if there is one particular man or woman to whom everyone else seems to be gravitating towards. What is it about this person that has all eyes on him or her? Is there something about this person that you know you can emulate? 49. In case you feel the concept of maintaining poise is a bit outdated, just think about how enduring the presence and stature of the following classic icons still are, to this day: Jacqueline Kennedy, Onassis, Grace Kelly, Robert Redford, Paul Newman. 2. Deliberate movements. As much as possible, you must always move deliberately. What do I mean by this? Unless a person is afflicted with some neurological disease, you can always tell when someone is a nervous, distracted, troubled or insecure character. Ever notice how some people seem to have an infinite number of little unnecessary moves? Every few seconds or so they flip or twirl a hair strand, scratch something, move their eyes around too often, tug or fix something on their clothing, and fidget mindlessly, for example tap their finger. sway or shake a foot or knee like there's a silent motor inside. Somehow they move differently and in contrast to someone who's confident and bubbly. Try to avoid doing all these fidgety moves yourself. They cancel out whatever poise you attempt. They may even annoy the people around you. Avoiding unnecessary moves can be tricky and difficult. If you're afflicted with these little gestures, you may find that the more you pay attention to keeping poise, the more self-conscious and nervous you become and the more you fidget. 50. The cure lies in having the right inner focus. You need to focus constantly and passionately on what you want to achieve in life. That's more important than physical poise. If you happen to walk into a room filled with gorgeous, poised and accomplished people, and you momentarily feel like you're underdressed and out of your league, so what? Is completely belonging to that crowd or impressing everybody more important than whatever pain or hardship you've had to overcome in the past, or what you've achieved? Is it more important than what you have to accomplish tomorrow? Is it going to matter years from now, when you look back on your life in your old age? When you place everything in this perspective, you can begin to calm down inside and relax. When you relax, all the unnecessary fidgeting disappears. You have the right mindset and motivation to support your poise. You stop being too self-conscious. You can start observing other people, instead of observing yourself. And without even really trying, you start sitting, standing, walking and moving in a fluid and more deliberate manner. In effect, your natural body language sends out a message that you have intelligence, class, elegance, and sex appeal, all at the same time. Here now are a few useful, deliberate gestures that you can use. Try to lean slightly into the person you want to have a meaningful conversation with. The lean is a useful and 51. Subtle way of letting someone know you are very interested in them, and in what they have to say. Maintain eye contact most of the time with the person you're talking to. It not only indicates interest in the person you're speaking to, but also your self-confidence. If you are engaged in a meaningful conversation with someone, you may reach a point where you can gently touch the top of his or her shoulder. This simple touch shows the person you are interested in them, and are enjoying the conversation. However, this is a very subjective effect subject to the culture you're in. If you aren't sure such a touch will be well received, err on the side of caution and do no touching. Smile. A smile advertises that you're approachable and easy to talk to. It captivates an audience. But remember, a real smile isn't a set of white teeth you flash out automatically. It's actually warmth and sincerity from your heart, spilling out of your eyes and smile. Otherwise, you will look like you're wearing a plastic grin. A real smile makes other people feel better and more receptive to you. Another plus, a real smile also helps you identify the negative or troubled people. These are the ones who remain unaffected, grumpy or distracted, despite being given a kind, warm smile. Avoid keeping your arms crossed in front of your chest as a default rest position. Without saying a word, this tells people you do not want to be talking anyone at all. Another big no-no: default rest position, standing with your hands in your pockets. That's fine occasionally, but if you're caught with that stance more than 50% of the time, many people will think you're nervous, restless, smug, a rebel without a cause even after adolescence, or plain shifty. If you find it difficult to keep your hands still without stuffing them into pockets, try occasionally crossing your hands over one another, either in front or back, or just relax and let them hang by your sides. Pretty soon you'll get used to it. 3. Basic courtesy gestures in the 21st century. Ladylike or gentlemanly gestures can seem archaic and parochial. 52. Opening doors for a lady and letting her through first, standing up when an older person, male or female, comes into a room, introducing people to one another and giving firm handshakes, eating with your mouth closed, etc. Are these still important? They still are. Such gestures communicate basic respect for other people in a way words can't. You should make them part of your particular brand of poise and natural manner. Study and practice them until they become second nature to you. Word selection and tone of voice, but enough about poise, manners, and physical appearance. There's an even more important lesson you need to remember when transforming yourself into a magnetic character. You need to think before you speak to others. Careful word selection and tone of voice is your secret weapon for snaring people's minds and hearts, including that of your potential dream mate. Make sure your words have depth of meaning. It's not just about being eloquent, well-read, well-traveled, or having a huge vocabulary to show off. It's how consistent you are in your thoughts, words and actions. Are you logical? Did you really research and mull over what you know about a particular topic or issue, or are you simply opening your mouth and spewing out whatever idle thought you have at the moment? Does what you say and do now harmonize with what you said and did 5 minutes ago, or yesterday? Or are you actually contradicting yourself? The best potential dream mates can spot an inconsistency immediately and get turned off by it. So be vigilant with yourself in this area. Even with self-confidence, strive to be kind, thoughtful and humble at heart. 53. Try to be honest and diplomatic at all times with every word that comes out of your mouth. Your motto should be, truth well told, and well timed. Don't guess at an answer you don't know. Nobody knows everything, and no one expects one person to be the source of all knowledge. When you pretend to be something you're not, you end up actually losing credibility. If you don't know or know very little about something you're being asked about, have the confidence and grace to say, I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I know little about that. But I'd love to know more. What can you tell me about it? Do not underestimate the power of tone of voice. Miscommunications can occur when the tone or mood of your voice doesn't match your words, or your body language, for that matter. We're already often admonished to be careful about the fonts of the words we choose to write letters, emails and text messages with. How much more careful should we be when we deal with other people face to face? Even more care should be taken when you use the phone. Nobody else can see your face, they only go by your words and your tone of voice. Try to communicate precisely and succinctly how you feel in your choice of words and tone of voice, and try to be kind and welcoming as you do so. Remember, you want to always have a voice that invites people to trust you. A sense of humor. Everyone wants to be around someone with a sense of humor. If this doesn't come naturally to you, observe and practice. Watch comedians and study how they are able to captivate a crowd. Is there something about what they talk about that you'd naturally say in real life? More importantly, is there something about life in general that you find comedic? Can your comedic view of life's difficulties be shared with others, to help them cope? If you can say yes to both questions, you have what it takes to be a 54. Truly magnetic person. People want to linger around people who make them feel good and hopeful about life. Be that person, and you'll be amazed at how many like-minded, really beautiful people you will attract. 55. Summary. It's a continuous process as you embark on your own quest to become a magnetic person. There are a few more things you need to know. 1. Once you've attracted or magnetized a dream mate, you need to follow through. The poise, character and personality that drew your dream mate to you shouldn't die down or disappear once you start dating one another or start a relationship. You need to be the real deal. What your dream mate saw in you on day one should be what he or she will experience from then on, and even more so, as the two of you get to know one another deeply. 2. Never settle for anything less than the best. After all that hard work you put in to become the new, magnetic you, why should you accept the very first person you snare in as your mate? Don't get desperate, or too lonely and emotional. Remember, you built yourself up to be this beautiful person who deserves only the best, so don't settle for anyone less than the best for you. Keep your eyes peeled. You're not the only person, magnet out there, and some of them aren't what they seem to be. Oftentimes, we can get caught up in the sexual attraction we feel with someone. The poise he or she possesses, the way he or she looks, speaks and moves can take such a strong hold 56 over us that we can't think of anything else other than becoming physically intimate with them as soon as possible. Sexual attraction can really pull us in all sorts of directions that we aren't prepared for, and don't know how to handle. It's okay to want someone that you are physically attracted to, but you should always rein yourself in and check if that person proves to be the very same dream mate you once described in your mind map. Don't settle for the flashy, magnetic personality with nothing underneath to back it up. You don't want that to be said of your own self. Why should there be a different standard for your potential dream mate? Remember, this is your life. You have the right and duty to enjoy it, and share your joy with others who will share just as much. Your one true love needn't be another duplicate of you, far from it, but you should aim for someone who understands who you are, and will stand by you, come what may. In other words, pick a soulmate who's a real and faithful person, magnet, like yourself. 57. References: How to make a mind map registered. The mind mapping site, Illumine Training. Web. 05 August 2010. Montgomery, Tracy. Date with purpose, do it right the first time. Want more? Visit http://www.book.com and download Date with Purpose.